and welcome to this final instalment of action from round 4 of the Ultimate Karting Championship in 2022. We're here at Rowrah in Cumbria, which is a track, let me tell you, that is simply stunning. The backdrop is as spectacular, we hope, as the coverage that we're going to be bringing you, with 360-degree cameras, drone footage, and all the razzmatazz that we can muster. Coming up in this programme, we'll be bringing you the action from the 3 remaining super finals here at Rowrah this weekend that are Minimax, Junior Rotax and Senior Rotax. And one man that knows the journey from minis to seniors well is Guy Cunnington, having taken titles on both the British, European and World stages and still running in Senior Rotax himself as the current GP plate holder. He now runs his own team here at UKC, Guy Cunnington Racing, looking after a number of junior and senior drivers. And earlier on, I had a chat with him. Here we are then at Rowrah, a circuit that you know well, and we're set for a good weekend, aren't we?
Yeah, it's dry at the minute. The wind's here, but it's still dry, so that's good.
A track that you know well, amongst many, because you've been on the podium over 100 times yourself, British champion, European champion, vice world champion, or world champion, depending whichever way you look at it. But you've come right the way through the ranks, and now you're running the team. Tell us how the team's going, because it's a relatively new thing for you.
Yeah, it's going really well actually. We started it last year just to see how I liked it. Like, we didn't have the awning last year, we just did it in some pop-ups and that, so the awning's new for this year. We had 4 drivers last year. It went really well. We really enjoyed the UKC. We come away with fourth in senior overall in the championship, so that was really good. 9th in junior, so we had a really good first season, so we chose to do it again this year. And yeah, it's been a difficult start to the season this year, but it's coming together now.
Yeah, and you got a good team in there. I think mostly junior Rotax drivers this weekend and a couple of seniors. Who should we keep our eyes out for?
We got number 5, Sophie, and then obviously number 9 with Lucas. But obviously Alex Cole, number 13 as well, is always gets the car around fast, so it's good. Archie as well, he's only started karting this year, so he's learning the tracks as he goes, but he's doing a really good job, so I'm really happy with all the juniors. Yeah,
and they're all names that we've heard in commentary before, the likes of Sophie Kinghorn, great driver there. But just tell us about your journey in karting as well. I mean, in the next round at the UKC, we're going to Clay Pigeon. That's a track that you know well. It all started for you there, didn't it?
Yeah, Clay Pigeon's where I started many years ago. I think I was 6 or 7 when I started at Clay Pigeon, so I've done some laps around there.
Yeah. And that journey, it was in the blood, wasn't it? You were destined to be a kart racer. Did you tell me that your grandfather and your father both raced karts?
Yeah, we've had quite a successful racing family, and yeah, my dad's dad and then my dad have won a lot of races in bikes and karts and cars and like a high level of like single seaters and things. So I was sort of born into the racing. So yeah, I didn't have much choice.
As we stand here looking at Rowrah then this weekend, like you say, a circuit that you've been around well. When you chat to a lot of the drivers, they say it's very fast and flowing. Just give us the headlines about Rowrah and what are your experiences of where you can do well here?
It's a really good track. It's a really, everyone I've spoke to likes the track. George in senior has never been here before. Right. The same as Archie in junior, they've not been here. And again, people that have been here, people that have not been here, they all love the track. There's good elevation. There's curbs to hit, it's a smooth surface, there's nice runoff, so the track's really nice. Yeah, brilliant.
Well, Minimax is coming up, and then Junior and Senior Rotax a little bit later on in the programme. Guy, you're probably a very busy man, so thanks for talking to us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Let's get things underway then with our first race, which is the Minimax class. Now, these drivers may be small, but let me tell you, their ambition is just as big as anyone's. Here's the grid positions with Jake Sansom.
And what a grid. Sebastian Mins and Finn Leslie on the front row, Noah Wolf and Thomas Mintz-Spearing from Harry Bartle and Liam Hartley, Josh Graham and Finley Buck, and rounding out the top 10, Jack Thompson alongside Alexander Zingarevich. On the 6th row, it's Will Murphy and Ben Simpson from Charlie Very and Gabe Cullen, then Majalskis and Quaker, Smith and Mentia, and then it's Oscar Cartmail alongside Dan Amore. On the 11th row, it's Lewis Goff and Victor Hansen from Mike Walker and Jack West, then Zach Turner and Matas Mizanskis, Hartley and Sawyers, and then towards the back of the grid, keep an eye on the likes of Tyler Lee and Alexander Reed. They'll be trying to charge their way forward. Ready, Let's go racing at Rowrah. And it's a fantastic start. Drivers trying desperately not to get caught up with the front fairings through the first chicane. Here they come as they go through. Oh, Majowskis has accidentally tagged Mentia, and Addison Smith couldn't avoid it. And Sawyers tags the back of Mentia's wheels. As we ride on board with Josh Graham, that's Jack Thompson going on a rodeo outside of McRae's. And up towards Iredale's, we are now trying to get away from Liam Hartley as off the road goes one of the Argentis. That was Spearing getting wide out of Iredale's as we make our move on Harry Bartle up towards the stewardesses. But Spearing, good recovery from Tom actually. He's managed to get himself into the middle of that little gaggle of drivers without actually losing too much time. So well recovered from Spearing. They come out of Sunny Bend. Now they're going to continue to have this squabble. And out of the final turn, it's Leslie. Then it is Sebastian Mins and the 45 of Noah Wolf. So those three who were at the top end already, they're still making a good impression. That's Alexander Reed getting his move on Dan Hartley as we come up to McRae's for the second time, as we have completed the opening lap. But now it's these three, Leslie, Mins, Wolf. They're the only three that have really kept their positions from the start.
Warning flags issued there, warning signs on the digiboard for cars 65 and 92, Jake, as they go lakeside down to Stuart S's once more.
Well, 65 is Jack Thompson, 92 is Jack West. I didn't see what happened to Jack, but Thompson obviously having his little rodeo. I don't know if that's the reason why he's been given a warning, but certainly something has come a cropper for him as the field works its way through Sunny Bend. And even in the middle of the pack, you've got some incredible driving in the gaggle of karts. Remember, you've got about 42 drivers this weekend battling for the 36 grid slots. So there's only a handful of drivers that have been left plumb out of luck. You've still got to be in it to win it.
Finn Leslie set the fastest lap, but Josh Graham has now passed that mark. So Graham now is the man who set the fastest lap, but he's in fourth place currently, so doesn't have track position. That is
great battles.
Finn Leslie, side by side, lakeside down to the Stuart S's. You'd expect the man on the inside to hold on to that, and he does.
Well, that was very impressive. I think that's the battle going on there between Finley Buck and Ben Simpson. So they continue on their way through. And out in front, Noah Wolf, for a change, is actually dropping back from the leading two. We don't say that very often. Noah Wolf still sat there in third place, just watching what Leslie and Mins do as Mins gets another fastest lap under his belt, a 49.3 for Sebastian Mins this time. But Noah Wolf is keeping a watching brief for a change.
Yes, it's quite often though, Leslie, Mins and Wolf out front in a very big field. It just shows you the quality of those drivers as we've got somebody slowing, coming out of the chicane, still going again, but dropping places.
Yes, somebody just overshooting. I wonder if that was Matas Mizanskas just going a little bit too deep in the chicane, and he's now dropped back quite a few positions. Sadly, Luke Sawyer's out of the race. Lizzie Mentia and Addison Smith, who had that first lap incident, by the way, they have managed to get back on the road again and continue. So that is very good news from their point of view. And as they come through at the end of lap 4, it's Leslie, Mins, Wolf, Graham, Bartle, Hartley, Spearing, Thompson, Buck and Simpson. And then it is Will Murphy in front of Zane Quaker, Zingarevich, Cullen, Majowskis, Amor, Cartmail, Walker, West and Charlie Berry.
Zane Quaker up, I think it's fourth place. I think he started 16th, something like that. So Zane Quaker on the move.
And it was indeed Matas Mizanskas that went off at the chicane. And up the inside, down Amor. Lovely overtaking move there into Iredale's as he knits his moment there on Aras Majowskis. So that puts him up into 15th position for the moment. Some good progress being made. Charlie Berry is struggling a little bit. He hasn't quite been able to make the impact on this race, but he's still got plenty of time. 10 minutes still remaining on the clock in front of me. The battle for 10th position, and it is a close one. That's Murphy, Quaker, Zingarevich and Cullen, all very close together, trying to get away from Amor and Majowskis. Looks like Majowskis has actually managed to get back past Dan Amor on that lap, but this is the battle for the lead, and it's still pretty tight after 5 laps. A little further into the race, and you can see that Ben Simpson is now having a great duel with Aras Majowskis. Majowskis getting through. Oh, Simpson has gone into the barriers, and I'm afraid he's taken Gabriel Cullen along for the ride. Gabriel Cullen clips his rear wheel. He goes in, his wheel comes off, and it looks as though Ben Simpson has got a little bit of pain to his arm there, and the race has been stopped. So the red flags have come out here at Rowrah, and that's obviously because of some discomfort. Let's look at it again. Majauskis. Looks like a perfectly simple overtaking move into McRae's as they go behind Zingarevich. Ben Simpson drifts wide, clips the curb, hits the barrier, pirouette. Gabriel Cullen nowhere to go, bang! And it actually tears the stub axle off the front of the kart.
So you can only come out on the back of the grid, all right?
Yeah. Can you move in?
Yeah, just move forward a little bit.
This is fascinating. Josh Graham is inquiring about making a repair. He's got a problem. He was in P4 prior to the red flag. He obviously thinks he's got so much of a problem he'll go from P4 to 30th back of the field. So he's changing a spark plug. Now that means he's got to start in P30. He is backing his talent to effectively do a Ronnie O'Sullivan of karting. 5 minutes 42 on the clock left. He wants to do a Ronnie O'Sullivan, go from 30th to somewhere near the top 10 in just 5 minutes 42. P2 in the championship, don't forget.
Well, here we go. Noah Wolf is going to make a move on the restart. He gets into second place. So he's already made the move on Sebastian Mins. So Noah Wolf is into second position. And watch Harry Bartle. He's trying to get himself onto the podium. Liam Hartley is there in fifth place.
Lakeside into the Stuart S's. Finn Leslie has the lead, but Noah Wolf makes an absolute super lunge. The championship leader in front.
As here comes Finn Leslie, back on the inside. Wolf, they go wheel to wheel as we watch Josh Graham get back on the inside. He gets past Addison Smith, but the leaders are absolutely squabbling for position now, as now we're going to take on Victor Hansen, who's come through in front. It's Leslie from Mins and Wolf for the moment. Wolf is trying to hang on from Bartle and Hartley as they come through. Goodness me, it's absolute skittles at Rowrah.
Wow, what a fantastic race we've got on here. It's basically a race over 5 minutes and 42 seconds with the entire field starting at the restart line astern.
Well, we've got a fantastic trio there battling. That's the Argenti teammates, Murphy, Zingarevich and Majauskis, as Graham slices on the inside of his teammate. That's Matis Bezanskas. So Graham up to 27th now. Addison Smith decides to pick up the overtaking move as well. But look, they're all still squabbling. So Josh Graham, having worked his way further forward, he's obviously got a little bit of time still to make up. Here is Finn Leslie in front of Sebastian Mins. Wolf is there in position, and now watch Jack West just flounder as Graham slices his way through on the inside line. Up and over the top, and there's Drizzle again on the camera. We saw this in the early races in the weekend with Minimax, and now we're going to get to see it again here as a big slide on the inside, middle of the field. Couple of drivers running wide there. It's the Argenti trio again battling away with Lewis Cobb and Michael Walker, and it's a spin, and I'm afraid that is a very frustrated Alexander Zingarevich. He spins the kart around as Graham passes the scene, trying to close up on the crop promotion of Rhys Owen. As they come down the straight, you can see the spots of rain on the camera lens as he dives in, picks up another place. That's 25th now for Joshua Graham. He really is gunning through the field.
Josh made a cheap one up in the hairpin, and he'll take as many of those as he can get right now.
Well, Noah Wolf is back in his second place. He's managed to make the move on Sebastian Mins. We didn't see it, but now Wolf is through, up on the inside, another overtaking move. This time it is Dan Hartley. So Graham still making big progress. That's now P23. But as we keep drizzling around the circuit, we're going to see all sorts of badinage. And now we're going to see Noah Wolf trying to shake off Mins and Hartley. Josh Graham picking his moment. Nicely done on the inside there of the 17 of Tyler Lee, who is now going wheel to wheel with Michael Dalton. And now we're going to go alongside Lizzie Mentia. Tyler Lee just holds on in front of Dalton. Graham waits for his moment on Mentia. What a recovery drive she's been having.
Now the radiator flap is just lifted there. That lowers the engine temperature. You raise it to cool the engine basically. And the data locking screen you just saw there, picked out with the graphic. That's where he gets all the information from in terms of lap times, engine temperature, all sorts of data that is fed to the drivers.
These guys aren't just racing drivers, they're nuclear physicists. A little bit further on, and Josh Graham gets his move on the inside line, and that puts him up in front of Oscar Cartmail, up on the curbs. More places made up from Graham. He's not a racing driver, he's a boxer. He's picking up his men as he charges his way back through. What an amazing charge.
3 places made up there. He'll be counting them in his mind as he's going past them. That's another 3. Where did I start? 30th, that's 27, 26, 25.
This is the kind of thing that can really help Graham out. Look, they're really struggling for grip as they bounce their way through. So many drivers desperately trying to find a line or two, as Bartle has lost a couple of places there.
I was going to say, you can't all get through the S's the way they're going. This is amazing action.
This is the drizzle. It's really starting to intensify. Past our teammate Will Murphy goes Josh Graham. Now he's tucked up behind another of his teammates. That is Aris Majauskis, who is in the top 10. Can we just point out that's how far Josh Graham has climbed through the field. He's now in behind Majauskis, who is in 10th place. Last lap, how much more ground can he make up?
Incredible, incredible. From 30th in 5 minutes 42, from 30th to 11th so far, and this is the battle for the lead. Wolf just holding on to second, Mins there in third. The winner is Finn Leslie. He just needs to keep it on the black stuff.
Well, that's going to be tricky because obviously they're on slick tyres and the drizzle is coming down. Finn Leslie's got to be so careful on this final lap. Into the stewardesses for the final time. Wolf has got himself in a second with a little bit of breathing space to Mins. Then it's Hartley, Buck, Quaker. Graham was in the middle of all of that. My goodness. Graham seems to have picked up quite a few more places in that.
And Quaker's made up 10 places, Jake. He started 16th. Zane Quaker up to the top 6.
What a fantastic charge through from both Quaker and Graham. But out of the final turn, Leslie's got it done in front of Wolf and Mins. There's Hartley. Look back. Buck is going to be in front of Quaker. Then it's Goff, Spearing, Bartle and Graham. Josh Graham fights his way back to the top 10. Quaker made up 10 places. Gregor Reed, though, made up the most. He finished 14th, came back from 30th on the grid. So it's Leslie from Wolf and Mins, Hartley, Buck and Quaker. Great drive. Goff made up 14, Spearing, Bartle and Graham in the top 10.
Well, after the restart, it really had it all, that one, didn't it? We had a wet track, we had top 3 drivers there in the championship, all fighting out. But in the finish, well done to all 3 of those drivers keeping their karts on the track. It ended up, didn't it, with Sebastian Mins, our pole man, coming home in third. Noah Wolf got himself a second, but kart number 26, Finn Leslie, held on for the win. Let's go and catch up with him at the podium.
Well, I had a good battle with Leslie, and then Noah Wolf catched up, and then started raining. So it's quite tricky, but yeah.
How did that affect you when the rain came in?
I'm quite used to having rain with slicks on, so it's all right.
Okay, and decent result for you in the conditions, really. Who do you want to thank?
I thank my mum, my dad, my sister, KR, my mechanic, Motorsport Finance.
Noah, I know you're a serial winner and you've had a great start to the season, couple of wins. Didn't quite get there last time, second place today, but I know you will be thinking it's all about championship points at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, so far I'm leading the championship by good points and hopefully we keep getting more points.
Okay, and this weekend, who's it all down to?
Sam, my mechanic, my mum and dad, all my sponsors and partners, and KR and Synergy Motorsport.
Okay, well done. Finn, great win for you here at Rowrah. Now, a lot of the other drivers are saying they've not been to Rowrah before. I'm pretty sure you have, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done quite a few laps on this track, and yeah, which makes it quite fast this weekend.
So a win, great result. Conditions a little bit difficult in the last minute or two?
Yeah, we just needed to make sure we didn't come off the track really, just make sure we brought it home.
Okay, and who do you want to thank?
Sam Pollitt, Cream Racing Engines, Sensafely and Raceway Motorsport.
Well done.
Thank you.
Great job from Finn Leslie, and of course now he is only 15 behind Noah Wolf in the championship fight. Sebastian Mins in third, and okay, Josh Graham fourth in the standings. He may not have officially made up the most places, but 32nd to 10th in 5 minutes 42. He's the Ronnie O'Sullivan of karting. He's got to be everybody's MVP today.
So on to our next race of the weekend, and it is Senior Rotax. Now these are some of the most experienced drivers here, and it always offers excitement. Many of this lot have been behind the wheel of a race car since they were just about big enough to see over it. Let's go and join the action with your race commentators, Jake and Alan.
So Tristan Rennie and Lorenzo Cordell on the front row of the grid from Jamie Rogers and Ben Doughty. Caden McQueen is beside James Otto, then Kian Tassang, Jensen Watts, Charlie Walsh and Louis Harvey in the top 10. That's already got all the ingredients for an epic. 11th and 12th, Ryan Garvey and Alex Moody from Weaver and Miller, Pritchard and Wood, Halliday and Lord and Lewis Wild and George Hunter rounding out the top 20. Further back, there's even more firepower. Hughes and Smith, Young and Bird from Jack Lilly and Scott Dunsmore, then John Knox and Tommy Edmonds from Les Taylor and Daniel Hughes. And finishing up a quality grid, you've got Ewan McKenna and Reese Duffy and Stephen Napier from Tyler Jex. Here we go, out of the final turn, Let's rock. Good run from Tristan Rennie to the first corner as Lorenzo Cordel is trying to make up places. We're on board with Tristan Rennie, and he's already got pressure from Doughty. We've got one going through the S's at the back of the field, and another spinner. That is the 49 going off. That's James Otto. What a shame. He had such a good run up to that point, as now Cordel is going to have Rennie to his far side, and Rennie and Cordel bang wheels. It's Rennie that gets a bit of a nudge from it, and up the inside comes Doughty to get into third position. So a massive squabble for the lead as the driver's trying to cut through. Goodness me, there can't be room for all of them. There's Caden McQueen, who won the second round of the championship, of course, at Warden Law. He's battling away with Lorenzo Cordel, and it's going to get very interesting from here on out.
One way, then another, looking for the inside line. Can't quite get it done, but Caden McQueen will be looking for a way past as soon as he possibly can. If human beings' voices ran on petrol, Jake, I think we'd be a bit low.
We're definitely working very hard indeed to try and keep up with the adrenaline that these guys are pumping through their veins. That got a little bit close between Watts and Doughty, as Cordel has McQueen to his left, and now he's got Rennie to his right. But he gets better traction. McQueen's got amazing traction on the far side as they come up towards the stewardesses. Can McQueen beat him to the braking zone? Not quite. He has to hang back. So Cordel hangs on to the lead, but only just.
In a field of 34 drivers, that's Louis Harvey going down the inside of Tristan Rennie. So we've got Rennie and Cordel with 360 onboard cameras on in a field of 34. How often do they end up line astern? As McQueen makes the move through paddock bend for the lead. Cordel fighting back across the start finish. He's got the inside line and he'll hold on just.
Oh, that's problems further back. That's Doughty clanging into the side of Jamie Rogers. How on earth are they still running? Because they ended up skating over the top of the curb, and somehow they ended up righting themselves and continuing on. But they've definitely lost a lot of places as a result of that. So let's look again as Jamie Rogers.
Side-by-side contact.
You can see, look, they just hop over the curbs. Rogers spears into the side of Doughty. Once you're at that point, there's no return. But somehow they managed to recover it. Now, McQueen's going to dive in on the inside of Lorenzo Cordel. Lovely overtaking move, and that holds up Harvey slightly. Rennie now trying to come through into third position. He's going to try again, but he can't quite make it into paddock bend. As they come onto the main straight, Caden McQueen is through, and possibly he could be disappearing from that one, as it looks as though Rogers...
Yeah, he's the one the officials have held responsible for that incident. It was side to side, but Jamie was the one doing the overtaking, so the officials have determined he was responsible for the contact.
Rennie frustrated for a little bit longer. Now he comes through on the inside, does he? Oh, he's on the limit of what the Kart can do. And now Chris Miller is going to get through on the inside line instead. Here's Jensen Watts on the all-black machine. As up through comes Isaac Lord. There goes Chris Miller. And also through goes Nathan Smith. The floodgates open.
Wow.
And unfortunately, it is at the expense of our cameraman. Tristan Rennie goes backwards down the field. He's still going backwards down the field. There goes Walsh, Wood, Weaver. And if he's not careful, Jamie Rogers is going to get through as well.
Amazing on-board action here. Jamie Rogers has set the fastest lap, but he's not got the track position he would like after the earlier contact. So he's the fastest man, but how many places can he make up? And Caden McQueen, by the way, look at the lead. Once again, this is down to the fact that everybody behind him are just battling and allowing him to get away. Caden McQueen leads by a huge margin. He goes through the line. What's the lead? 1.9 seconds.
Well, Rogers and Hughes both did manage to get past Tristan Rennie, who's down to 14th, as Isaac Lord and Chris Miller have both been pinged by the officials and given a warning flag. Caden McQueen, 46.5. He's stretching out in front. He doesn't have to worry about this incredible train of karts as we watch it continue to spread out. That's Cordel Harvey, and the man who's in with them is Kian Tsang. So Kian Tsang has got himself into fourth place. Big lunge from Tsang, good move. And he, of course, won the super final last time out. So Kian Tsang managing to get himself into the mix, and he is now third. So some good racecraft there from Kian Tsang, tucking up behind Lorenzo Cordel. So it's Cordel, Tsang, and then you've got Louis Harvey in front of Watts. Here comes Tristan Rennie, he's back, trying to get himself up some positions once more. And he's taken Rhys Duthie with him. Rhys Duthie started on the penultimate row of the grid. He's up 18 places.
Incredible. 18 places in the first 5 minutes of the race. That is remarkable by Rhys Duffy. He's vying for the old MVP tag, I think, in this one, Jake.
Absolutely. Well, no pressure, but you've got 8 minutes, so what can you do with that? Can you get into the lead maybe, Rhys?
Yeah.
That's absolutely astonishing.
No pressure.
No pressure at all, especially now that Caden McQueen has jogged on a pace up front. But this is for second. Caudle to Sang, Harvey, Watts, and it is an absolute quartet of firepower.
You want to impress Jake Sanson, Rhys Duffy, you better win the race. Nothing less than that.
So now we're going to see Louis Harvey up to third position. He gets through on Kia to Sang. Watts is still sat there in fifth position waiting for a chance. And behind them we've got Miller, Walsh, Smith, Rogers, Lord, Weaver, Rennie and Wood. It's Andrew Hughes and John Knox filling out the 15. And then Duffy, Edmonds, Hunter, Moody, Lilly, Halliday, Taylor and Wild. With so many drivers still trying to make up good pace. Ryan Garvey is the only one out of the race despite all of this. Ben Doughty's still going at the back. Louis Harvey dives in. So too does Kia to Sang, but to Sang can't get through. Caudle has to hang back. But Louis Harvey now in a second position as Lorenzo Caudle just has to watch it unfold.
Plenty of action throughout the field as we look back in the towards the back end of the field. Has to Sang up the inside of Caudle for third place. So Caden McQueen, by the way, set the fastest lap, not surprisingly. He's got a clear track to work with. When I say clear track, ultra clear track to work with for Caden McQueen. And this is a bit like Warden Law.
Caudle is actually now defending. He's holding on to his position with 7 minutes to go. Now that tells me that Lorenzo Caudle clearly feels he hasn't got decent pace as off goes Chris Miller, drops to the back of the queue. But Lorenzo Caudle, he's already seen Harvey and Sang get by. But look, he's providing a bit of a roadblock, a mobile roadblock for everybody else. He clearly feels that the kart is not going to be able to get any better than where he currently is.
Yeah, he's trying to white line the whole track, effectively trying to hold on, as you say, Jake, to what he's got. But I'm not sure that will happen, to be honest. In days before, we had a little feature, as the 36 kart gets a warning, little feature earlier on about the drop-down nose bumpers. There was in days gone by, with 5 or 6 drivers behind him, he would have just been, if he starts white lining the track, they'll just fire him. They'll just shove him out of the way, not necessarily fire him off, but shove him out of the way as another place made up there.
That's Jamie Rogers. He's picked off first Charlie Walsh and then Jensen Watts as we go past Lakeside. And this is a brilliant run from Jamie Rogers. Despite what happened earlier on with his little moment with Ben Doughty, he is getting himself back into contention very smartly here. So redemption definitely coming the way of Jamie Rogers.
You're saying that, Jake, but I'm hearing on the radio the officials believe he's been involved in some other contact.
Oh!
There he is. Well, another contact, I'm not sure, but they believe there's been some more contact involving Jamie Rogers. Of course, he is the championship leader coming in. That's on the radio, so they're discussing that.
Rennie on the inside of Lord, and look, Lord has had a bit of fisticuffs on the front fairing. You can see it's kind of bent in, and the plastic panel looks like it's a drinks carton on the side of the road. It's basically been compressed as it's had a couple of little choice moments. So the field's still working its way through, out of the stewardesses, up towards St John's, and still great battling here at Rowrah. These tricky conditions and these cool temperatures, greasy circuit is definitely giving us a bit of a spicy senior rotax race, that is for sure. So the battle continues. McQueen out in front now to the tune of 4.9, and on the inside in the middle of the field, that is Les Taylor getting his run on George Hunter, and the door is left wide open for Jack Lilly. He also gets through. Watch out for the 23 Tommy Edmonds, he might get a run, and Charlie Pritchard is not a million miles away either. Great racing at the front, amazing battles in the midfield as well. Everybody trying to put on a bit of a spectacle here as Les Taylor runs in 18th ahead of Lilly, Hunter, Edmonds, Pritchard, Wild and Halliday. And everybody still wanting to put on a really good spectacle here. Harvey into Sang getting away. Rogers has got through into 4th, but Caudle is holding up a big gaggle. Here comes Rennie on the inside of the line of Chris Miller. He's off and in the barriers. Tristan Rennie has gone off the road.
0 unfortunately for Tristan Rennie. He started pole. He's clearly got talent, a lot of talent, Tristan Rennie. He's put it on pole, but unfortunately it's all ended like this. He's clearly got a problem with the kart. He is far too talented to be going backwards in the field like we've seen here, and nothing like crashing right in front of the slow motion camera and giving us a nice piece of action.
Black flag for Rogers. Oh,
flag for Rogers.
They've clearly decided then that he's got involved in too many issues where he's gained advantage by contact, and he's been given the black flag as we are about to lose 3 places in one fell swoop. Watts has gone through, Walsh has gone through, and Weaver has gone through.
So Jamie Rogers, the championship leader, has received a black flag, and there it is, and that's the second time it's been shown. We didn't see the first one, but that is, and he's pointing at the sign, the starter. Now this is the next time round. Now the starter's holding out another black flag. So just in case Jamie was thinking of saying, I never saw it, and a bit difficult. And there it is again. That's a 4th black flag. Now I tell you what, he is now, that's our automatic exclusion, Jake, minimum from the race. Exclusion minimum from the race, possibly from the meeting. And if this was another form of racing, we get more contact with Walsh alongside Lorenzo Cordell with the onboard camera. If you miss 4 consecutive black flags like that in other forms of racing, that's a fine and a 1 to 3 month ban.
It is indeed, and that's the championship leader of all people. Caden McQueen is going to dance to the victory up front. No problems at all for him, but Jamie Rogers will be second on the road, having ignored multiple black flags. He could get the book thrown at him here.
Yeah, he gets a checkered flag, but he won't be keeping that. That is an automatic exclusion. Now, quite where that will lead, I don't know, but he is not going to keep his place in the race. We'll see from the official results as they come up.
Yep.
Is he second? No, he isn't,
no,
because he's been excluded.
So McQueen is the winner from Tasang, Harvey, Cordell, Walsh and Watts. Andrew Hughes making up 14 places. Reese Duffy, take a bow. 24 places made up for the Saltire Motorsport driver. Great effort.
Louis, lots of drama leading into that race, but it was okay in the end. 3rd place. Happy with that? Good for you?
Yeah, really happy. Really good points. It was massive faff before the race, but I think everyone was on the right tyre, and it was a good race. Had a good battle with Kieran, and then 3rd place.
And who do you want to thank?
I'd like to thank Argenti Motorsport, my dad and my family, and all my sponsors.
Caden, it's a bit like Warden Law over again, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was really good, really fast the whole way throughout the weekend. So, yeah, it was a bit similar to Warden.
And you got your friend with you, your little gnome.
This is the new team mascot, Nomeo, a helmet stand, and also it brings the luck.
You certainly brought the luck today. Who do you want to thank?
I want to thank the team, Zip Kart. They've done an amazing job, built an amazing team. My dad for kind of being on the tools, more so a trolley pusher. My sponsors that are involved, they've done an amazing job to put me here, and also Croc for the karts.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Well, that weekend has changed things dramatically. Louis Harvey is 8 points ahead of Caden McQueen and 11 ahead of Lorenzo Cordell. But Jamie Rogers, the former championship leader, excluded from the meeting. Whether you agree with warning flags or not, you cannot ignore multiple black flags. And I'm afraid that has come back to bite him big time.
So we are on to our last race of the weekend, and it is of course the Junior Rotax. And with over 90 drivers registered in the class, all fighting for a win and hungry for those valuable championship points, even making it through to the super final is an achievement in itself. Let's go and join your race commentators, Jake and Alan.
Well, if Junior is anything like Senior, we're in for a real show. Charlie Hart and Stephen Duncan on the front row from Isaac O'Shea and Reese Lomax. Sam Baker and Addy Kulkarni from Gabe Fairbrother and Taylor Orridge. Then Gracie Mitchell and Ted Bradbury rounding out a very competitive top 10 indeed. Then it is Reza Sararuthan and Angus Scrivener from Pearson Bullock Carter and Blake Ticehurst. Barnes, Purchase, Clark, Earl Mackay and Carl. And then Ethan Head and Matthew Lambert from Bailey and Charman. Kernahan and Max Taylor from Watson, Speakman, Adam Zacton and Alex Duncan from Kinghorn, who just scraped in with Hussein, Bella Franklin and Ethan Bentley. Let's rock! 14 minutes on the clock and time to see what the Junior Rotax boys and girls can serve up. Through the chicane for the first time. Is everybody going to get through? Well, just about. There's one or two trying to throw it off the apron already as we go on the visor cam with the Charmander in through McRae's. And Ewan Charman already giving himself plenty of things to do on this opening lap. This gives you a real flavour of where the driver's eyes go. They do say in the world of racing that your cart goes where your eyes go. So obviously he's having to work it very hard. On board with Gracie Mitchell. through the stewardesses for the first time, up and over the curbs, hunting down the 53 of Ted Bradbury in the hope that she can make up more progress, but it's been very tricky in this opening lap already as Charman tries to slice in on the inside of the 11 of Levi Earl, and Earl is not giving any space at all. At the end of the first lap, it's Hart from Duncan, O'Shea, Lomax, Orange and Fairbrother with Ted Bradbury. A brilliant start. Oh!
Orange gone. That's Gabe Fairbrother up the inside, Jake. And that's fascinating because this is almost a replica move that Gabe Fairbrother suffered from last time at Glannygorse. This time it's him doing the overtaking.
Oh.
The contact is just in front of the rear wheel, exactly how Gabe was taken out at Glannygorse. Now, I said last time, here's a look from the drone. I said last time if the officials had seen that incident or it had been reported to them, they would have taken action. And in this case, on the radio, they're talking about it. So this time they have seen it. And I do believe, having seen the replay, I'm going to give you my honest opinion, it's a slam dunk penalty, unfortunately for Gabe. And indeed, Kart 2 under investigation.
Well, Sam Baker, Blake Ticehurst and Razor Sararuthin are all going to get past Gracie Mitchell on the run to the stewardesses. A very tricky moment there for her, but she's still got plenty of opportunities to fight back into contention. Back on board with the Charmander. Can he get past Levi Earl? Down into St John's. Looks through the right-hander. This is such a physical circuit anyway, Rowrah, but getting the visor cam, look at how much goes through the body. Up into Paddock Bend. He can't quite get alongside enough to get the overtaking move done, so he has to slot back in. This is fascinating as Ted Bradbury gets the fastest lap of 46.7 from him.
Yeah, what you were saying earlier, Jake, about where you look, your kart goes or your car goes, or this is more a thing about motorcycle racing particularly. You're on a motorcycle, you're on a track, or you're on the road, for example, and you look at the curb which is coming up on the outside of the bend, your motorbike will go to the curb and it will kick you off. No doubt about it. But that's why when you look at people as they're going around a corner, they look where they want to be, not where they think the kart might be going. You don't want to look where you don't want the kart to go. You want to look where you want the kart to end up. And that's exactly, in karting, in car racing and in motorcycle racing, exactly what you'll see the drivers and riders do. They'll look where they want to end up.
So Charlie Hart banks in the fastest lap from the lead. Here comes the move from Charman. Does it? He's going to leave it late to get alongside Levi Earl. He can't quite finish it off, and he's getting frustrated. Sat behind the Sam Pollitt racing driver, trying his best to get through on the inside line, but Levi Earl is keeping his card in exactly the right places. Here comes Mitchell, dives in on the inside of Blake Ticehurst. Thanks, buddy. I'll have that one. That was a lovely manoeuvre into the stewardesses from Gracie. So now the battles continue on through the field. But Charlie Hart is only about 0.8 of a second now in front of Stephen Duncan. There's battles all the way through. Look, this is outside the top 20. And check this out. You've got Lambert, Bailey, Franklin, Kinghorn, Bentley, Orridge and Finley Watson just a whisker in front of Max Taylor as diving through move after move. That is a good recovery from Taylor Orridge, diving in to find the space. And that's another thing that drivers are advised by their coaches, by others in the sport. You try to fill the gaps. You always look for an opportunity, put your kart into that gap, because as the bend flows out, you'll find that you can actually get better traction, but then trying to hustle for an overtaking move. If you fill the gap, you've got a better chance of moving forward.
Yeah, the other thing the driver coaches will tell you, if you get an opportunity, you go for it. First opportunity you get, you go for the move. Don't sit there behind a driver, wait for the next corner, or wait for the next corner. One opportunity, one overtake, and you've got to go for it every single time.
So there is Ewan Charman, currently sat behind Pearson Bullock Carter, having got past Alex Cull and Levi Earl at long last. Now trying to dice for position further back. This is getting spicy as we watch a great duel unfolding here. This is the tussle between Orridge, Duncan, Bella Franklin and Sophie Kinghorn. They're all having a great little tussle. We saw Aaron Mackay battling with Ethan Bentley and Reese Bailey there as well. So lots of great dueling all around the course and a lot of drivers trying to make their impact in greasy conditions here in Junior Rotax. But this is the battle up front. Charlie Hart and Stephen Duncan are well clear, but you've still got the likes of Sam Baker and Reese Lomax dueling for position. Diving through, this is for 15th place. You've got Pearson Bullock Carter, Charman, Cull and Earl, and Ewan Charman has only just managed to get to the front of that quartet. We're watching the battle for ninth go through. That's Kulkarni, Clark, Sararuthan and Ticehurst, wheel to wheel, down to the first corner between Ethan Head and Zaki Hussain. So some good battles there, and they're being chased down by Angus Scrivener and the young man from Northern Ireland, Ruben Kernahan. But this is the battle for ninth again. Kulkarni, Clark, Sararuthan and Ticehurst still battling their way through. And still the race goes on all the way down the field. Next lap, check this out. Charlie Hart is 1.6 from Duncan and a further 3 seconds ahead of Ted Bradbury. The leading trio have not only gone away from the rest of the pack, but they've spread out from each other. Charlie Hart has already got one hand on the trophy.
Yeah, Charlie Hart, good recovery after Glenigorse Park. He was involved in that incident with Gabe Fairbrother, of course. Didn't get a penalty that day because it wasn't seen. Gabe has got a penalty, I believe. This is a battle for 10th.
That is a lovely move from Leo Purchase. He dives in on the inside, and I think there might be another opportunity for an overtake there from Stephen Barnes. He dives in on the inside of the final turn, and there isn't really a lot that Reza Sararuthan can really do about that. That's going to benefit Ewan Charman, who has dropped the trio that he was battling with earlier on. Now he's got a chance to move up into 14th past Reza Sararuthan.
Taylor Orridge has moved up to 23rd, Jake, which is a good recovery, bearing in mind he was pretty much turned around the wrong way after that early incident with Gabe Fairbrother. I did say earlier, it looks like Gabe's going to get a penalty. They've been talking about it on the radio, the officials. It has been seen. And Gabe will probably feel a bit hard done by. Well, you didn't do anything about it when I got taken out last time. But I said before, I'll say it again. If the officials see it or it's reported to them, and in this case they did see it or it was reported to them, they will take action, and that's what they've done in this case. Unfortunately for Gabe, wasn't seen last time, but unfortunately for him this time, is a battle for 25th to 31st, battles all the way down the field. Unfortunately for Gabe this time, has been seen. He has been deemed to be responsible and will get a penalty at the end of this race.
Yeah, this is fantastic. You've got Franklin, Taylor, Adam Acton, Duncan, Kinghorn, Aaron Mackay and Ethan Bentley, and having a great squabble, and even Rhys Bailey and Finn Watson aren't far away. Now, this is getting a little bit interesting, as we've still got plenty of time for things to change in these last couple of laps, especially considering how rough and tough and ready it can get in Junior Rotax. This is a nice little tussle. Lomax and Mitchell, they're dueling away for 7th place. Something could kick on between them. Archie Clark has managed to get himself into 9th place at the head of his quartet. And this is the overtaking move into the final turn, is it not quite? As Taylor Orridge hangs on here in front of his rivals, Ethan Head and Matthew Lambert, but out in front, Charlie Hart. He's been able to pull well clear of Stephen Duncan, just measured things very nicely here. Now, look at the time we've got left. It's only a few seconds left. He's not going to be able to start another lap before the time goes down, so this one is going to be the final lap this time by. Here we go, and Charlie Hart, he can just dance his way to the victory. He can pull over, have a cup of tea, get back in and win the race with that kind of a gap.
Yeah, decent gap for Charlie Hart, comfortable victory for him this weekend, and he'll feel that justice has been done after the dramas at Glenigorse Park. He's going to take an easy win. The only thing that will stop him now is if there's some drizzle on the track, but it doesn't look like happening.
Oh, don't curse him right at the bitter end. That would just be so unfortunate, as the field is still working their way through. But there is Charlie Hart. This has been a long time coming for him, a race performance like this where finally there are no issues, there are no difficulties, and he's going to get the just deserved reward that he's been working hard for all weekend. Charlie Hart comes through, checkered flag, boom, bang, tidy. Excellent result. Stephen Duncan in 2nd place, and the ever-present Ted Bradbury. Great podium in front of Isaac O'Shea and Gabe Fairbrother. However, sadly, as we watch Lomax and Mitchell race to the line, no change between those two. Gabe Fairbrother, it was spotted by the officials, and they have penalised him 1 lap for driving in a manner incompatible with general safety. So Charlie Hart still wins from Stephen Duncan, Ted Bradbury 3rd from Isaac O'Shea. Lomax is promoted to 5th ahead of Mitchell, Baker, Clark, Aditya Kulkarni and Blake Ticehurst. Good credit to Zaki Hussain as he made up 14 places to go from 32nd on the grid to 18th.
Well, super racing from those junior rotax drivers there. 34 of them made it through to the super final from the 90 or more who are registered for the championship. So every driver was fighting for every place out there on the track in that one. So well done to all of them that made it through. And full credit as well to Isaac O'Shea. He got himself up to 4th place and he was 20th in the championship coming into this weekend. But the top 3 were the names we've heard before, aren't they? Championship leader Ted Bradbury got himself 3rd. Stephen Duncan in 2nd. But the man that started on pole got himself out into the lead, and then he just had to hang on to it throughout the race. That was, of course, Charlie Hart. Well done to you, sir. Let's go and catch up with him then at the podium.
3rd place in juniors, highly competitive class, of course, and just talk us through the race from your point of view.
Yeah, so I started 10th. Obviously, I had to pick them off one by one. Managed to come away with 3rd, but I'm glad my teammate Charlie came away with the win.
Okay, who do you want to thank?
Sam Pollitt Racing, especially Sam Pollitt and Lewis Brown for making me a better driver all the time and getting the kart perfect as per usual. Yeah, and my mum and dad, thank you.
Man of the North, so I'm guessing this is a track you know quite well?
I've done a few laps around here, but I don't know off the back of my hand like other tracks like Warren Law, but seconds, I'm happy with seconds. So.
2nd place keeps you in the championship hunt as well?
Yeah.
So you're happy with that?
I think we're sitting 5th in the championship, so it's an alright result, I guess.
Yep, and who do you want to thank for your weekend?
I'd like to thank Hunter Motorsport for all the great setups, Potenza Racing Engines and my dad on the spanners.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Obviously had a clean sweep in the heats, so just had a mint start and just kept building the times quicker and quicker, just kept it consistent and won the race.
So it didn't matter today where you started at the back, you won, you started at the front, you won, and then you won that super final. So great weekend for you. Who's it all down to?
Sam Pollitt Racing, Tom Moorkill for the spannering, absolute mint job as always. My mum and dad for making it all happen. My sponsors, Cumberland Platforms Limited and Jorvik Design Group, and Easy E.
A good run from Charlie Hart. Just as it starts raining, we can reflect on his performance. Ted Bradbury 2nd in the championship behind him, but look how close it is behind. Gabe Fairbrother and Lomax only 3 apart, and then Stephen Duncan, Ewan Charman and Pearson Bullock Carter ahead of Aditya Kulkarni, giving chase at fever pitch.
So that's it. Our weekend here at Rowrah has sadly come to a close, but the circuit the drivers all love really didn't disappoint. We now move into the business end of the season as we move on to round 5 of 6, and that will see us heading south down to Dorchester and Clay Pigeon Raceway, where we'll be at the end of July, and we do hope that you can join us then. But until then, from all of us here in the Cumbrian Fells, see ya.